Hello and welcome back. This is the third video in this series. I have my trusty canvas panel. It's 11 by 14, just so you'll know the scale and size. My workstation here outside. It's a nice cool day, so I'd love to work outside at every chance I get. What you'll be needing today will be your paint skins. This is one of many of mine. You'll need your stack of paint skins. You will potentially need a pair of utility scissors, or any kind of sharp scissors will do. A brush, a soft bristled brush. You'll want some golden, regular gel matte. Basically, you want a clear acrylic medium. So a matte medium fluid would be a little bit better than heavy body. You want the really easy to work with stuff. And you'll need some clear, clean water. This is just in a used cup, what I use for the paint skins, or reduce, reuse, recycle, and no need to get rid of it just yet. So the real task at hand today will not be an issue of how do I apply it. That's the easy part. I'm just painting on the acrylic just like glue. The hard part is in the actual application or composition of this piece, so that the end product looks like a constructed painting and not just some random, we have high hopes is what I'm saying. But so my idea that I would like to do is I want to cut this into strips that I can use. I'm going to go ahead and complete this tear. Reminds me of like a fruit roll-up consistency, something like that. So I want longer strips. I'm going to go ahead and start off by cutting this into strips. So I'm going to see what I can do with that. Okay, so one thing I haven't acknowledged is that this is a canvas panel that I've obviously already used. I used this for the geometric tutorial video. So I don't care that there's artwork or some paint already down, because I'm going to cover all that up. But what I have done so far is I've sliced some long, bright colored, saturated, highly, let's call them Disney colors, really bright colors, pure saturated. And then I've also cut strips of my earth tones, so muted colors. And then I've left some of my paint skins complete. And these are some of my brighter, lighter colors. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So all I will be using will be a paintbrush, soft bristled paintbrush with some water just to thin out. I have some heavier bodied gel medium. Now, the beginning of this painting is going to be rather intuitive, which means I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So let's start somewhere in the middle, and I will work my way out from that. I do know that to make this work, I'm going to have to ensure that there is a nice solid layer of the gel medium underneath every square inch of the acrylic skins. Otherwise, it won't stick. So you have to use a lot of this medium to make it work. And if you notice, I am intentionally I'm going to be leaving windows. I'm not going to overlap every square inch.
So let's go ahead and speed this up. Working with paint is a passion of mine. It does take time, but I really enjoy getting lost in the process, so the fact that it takes time is a good thing for me. As a matter of fact, when I was in grad school earning my M.F.A, I had weekly one-on-one critiques with my professors. Sometimes they loved what I was doing, and sometimes they didn't. I still remember the first harsh criticism I received, and I said, "But I spent so much time on it." Although that was true, time wasn't relevant to good art. Sometimes to make good art, you have to spend months to work the process, and sometimes only seconds, depending on the process. If you take shortcuts on long processes or overwork short ones, the result will be bad art. That was a very valuable lesson, and quite frankly, it was empowering to me because what it meant was that I no longer needed to continue working and working and working on something that was finished a long time ago. So, if I was finished, then I could be more relaxed and have more fun with it and go ahead and move on to the next thing. About a year later, I learned a counterpoint. In one of our group discussions, the question was posed, does the best art come from the best skilled artist? Or I should say, does the best art come from the most skilled artist? And of course, there was a bunch of ideas and strong opinions. So after a debate proceeded, we came to the logical conclusion that if two artists had the exact same background and same level of talent, and each artist began a detailed painting, roughly the same size, roughly the same materials, all of that, but one of those skilled artists only painted for, let's say, 8 hours, which some would say is a long time, and then the second artist painted for many, many hours longer because of the passion for the painting, because of the passion for detail, the enjoyment of it, the fact that while you enjoy a process, you no longer really care about the time. So after a couple weeks, those two artists brought their finished paintings into a setting, let's say, hung it on the wall of a gallery. One painting would be far better than the other, generally speaking. And why would that be? They both had the same background, they both had the same skill, they both had the same skills in art. But it really comes down to the fact that one had passion and the other did not. And as a result of that passion, that artist, the second artist, who spent more hours, had more energy to do it because of the joy of the actual work. So as a result of spending more time, the second artist's painting had a greater level of detail, subtlety, clarity, and overall completion. So the moral of the story is that skills will grow with practice. They really will. But the skills don't single-handedly make great art. Passion in the heart of the artist is what drives the artist to continue working onward to make great work. So, getting back to this painting. The process is essentially collaging with strips and small pieces of acrylic paint skins. The glue that I'm using is acrylic matte medium, which is acrylic paint with no color in it. I seal every piece that I lay down with an additional top coat of matte medium. The difference between this painting and a collage, however, is that in the end this will still be called an acrylic painting because after all, everything that is on the canvas is acrylic paint. If I were to collage multiple media like paper, fabric, or other found objects, then it would be a mixed media collage. In the big scheme of things, this doesn't really matter. It's just a technicality. You may be wondering what I'm thinking about while making this. How do I make the decision where to place a skin? Well, I'm always thinking about contrast. I'll put light pieces over dark, bright over dull, small pieces over big pieces. One thing I don't like to do, and therefore I don't do it very often, is hiding small pieces under a big skin. I would recommend placing your big skins first and then using medium ones and start placing tiny pieces last. That way, with each additional layer, you still see the evidence of previous layers. Nothing should be wasted by being buried underneath. Even if it's just the tiniest sliver that's still visible, it was worth it.
So I feel like I've done all that I want to do with the collaging of paint skins, and now it's all very cool feeling. So I just got a little magenta, little yellow light, diarrhea yellow, like an orchid color in a darker orchid color. So I'm using a very tiny brush, very tiny, and I'm going to, you see how this warm color kind of pops through there? I'm going to add more of those pops in the background. So far I only used a little, but it's made a big difference. It's going really into the pointillism type appearance in this area. And I think I want to do one more thing and do some splattering, and then I'll call it finished.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've learned not only how to pour skins and peel skins, but also how to lay them down in a permanent way that creates your own abstract painting and making whatever you find beautiful. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.